Mrs. Kimani Goddard, a FIDI Fellow in Maastricht University, Netherlands, Pays-Bas. I'm happy to give you the floor, dear Kimani. Please.
Thank you very much, and thank you for allowing me to intervene on this topic. What I wanted to talk a little bit about was thinking about copyright as provided, copyright in databases as provided for within the WIPO treaties, and as we have heard from many interveners, sui generis rights in databases within the EU database directive. These provide only one aspect of looking at the regulatory and analytical framework for understanding the integration of data into markets for the creation of analytics products, services, and processes. There is also a role for this regulatory framework in understanding cross-border trade and transfer of the products, services, and processes created from these different classes of data. While the current regulatory framework for ownership of data provides some sort of semblance of clarity when addressing the ownership of databases by legal persons and corporations, it is much less precise when it looks at data for personal data proprietary rights of natural persons. Within the current structure of the regulatory system, only privacy rights in relation to data are provided to natural persons via the GDPR and various similar pieces of legislation in other jurisdictions. This regulatory approach creates a widening gap between legal concepts of property and privacy, which historically have actually been intertwined concepts in law. It therefore may be useful to define a broad legal term for this kind of data, one which straddles property and privacy, in order to facilitate the process of creating a new purpose-built regulatory system. A clear understanding and scope of the different classes of data, such as health data, financial data, social interactions, etc., and the modes of their continuous collection, processing is therefore necessary. A term which will encapsulate all pertinent issues related to this kind of data relating to natural legal persons. And this term I would like to call LifeData. LifeData can be thought of as the aggregate data store or data footprint, whether digital, that means online, or offline, because these two types of data can usually be interlinked, created by a natural or legal person, it covers both, in their continuous interactions in the digital environment and the real world environment. It is constantly evolving and expanding over time and different spaces. As an example, the use of digital contact tracing during the COVID-19 pandemic has emphasized the complex legal and ethical issues surrounding data ownership, privacy, and transnational trade and data transfer. In addition, the digital contact tracing, the increasing sophistication of data gathering network devices raises ethical questions about copyright in the resulting databases, sui generis database rights of the resulting databases, and the functioning or dilution of intellectual property concepts such as moral rights in copyright law. Providing a midway regulatory system between intellectual property and privacy regulation can facilitate the creation of a more nuanced tool to identify and manage risks associated with the inevitable use and reuse of data and its incorporation into products, services, and processes which are being constantly augmented in real time and traded across borders. So we need to look at a new class of property, or a new class called LifeData, which is provided for and regulated by a midway point between property and privacy regulation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Goddard. Indeed, this is a proposal that I think could be discussed and is stimulating for our debate.